Fresh off a trip from Disneyland, our man Will Z here with us. I was just asking Will during the commercial break how Disneyland was.
Yeah, it was great. So Kennedy, 17 months old now, which
I
is
don't know
just
if you know
wild.
this, Will. We're big Disney guys around here.
I know.
Me, Kyle Madsen. I believe they call us Disney adults. I believe that's
Yeah.
what we're called.
Yeah, it's been like 7 or 8 years since we've gone at all. So, but seeing her, like, we went on Pirates first because she can go on. There's a limited amount of rides, but she was a little nervous at first, and by the end of the time we were there, just how excited she was for the rides, and she like got the concept and what was going on. I was a little nervous that she would be sad or mad getting off of rides because she just wanted to do more, but she was a trooper. She hung in there. She was great. Got to meet some characters. It was awesome.
Norm asking a great question. Were you guys wearing matching shirts?
We had one day where my mom got us all matching shirts.
There you go. Yep. You
Yep.
did it right. Yeah, you did it right. Were you and Hannah fighting by the end of the trip?
No, we weren't.
No.
It was
Because I
great.
heard,
Yeah.
because I heard Heather's Kyle's wife was watching the video of me and Katie. Said that's how every trip with me and Kyle ends. It just ends in a big fight.
It's
That's what I
just
heard.
long days. Like there's so much going on, and it's a lot of walking, a lot of figuring out what to do.
Yeah,
It's a lot. So I get it.
yeah. No, it's confusing. Like I don't know
Mhm.
how anyone could ever like learn how that works. It's terrifying. But glad you had a good time, man. And I'm lying. I'm just glad you're back.
Yeah.
We miss you when you're back.
It's good to be back.
And Kings won a couple of games over the last few days. Will, man, there's a lot to. I really think there's a lot to talk about with this team and what we've seen over the last couple of days, and maybe over what we've seen, through the course of these four. But let's start with someone you wrote about, who we started the show with. Domantas Sabonis is having a hell of a start to the season.
Man, he's been just so good, like so impressive. Where what stands out to me is just his efficiency and just the look on the court too. So I think you read the numbers, but his 60 something, pulling it up,
65% from the field.
yeah, 65% from the field, and the way he's shooting the ball all over the court. In the restricted area, 80%, floater area, 57.1, mid-range, 66, corner three, he's 2 of 2, above the break threes, 4 of 9, like literally everywhere on the court, he's shooting with confidence. His drives look more confident, like he's going up strong and dunking. He's not pump faking as much, I think. And just everything about his game looks and feels strong and confident. And I know I've said that word a few times, but it's what stands out to me. And I think it comes off of a very strong preseason that didn't get talked about enough with the way the Kings played as a whole throughout the preseason.
And it goes back to something that D'Lo's talked about a number of different times. Is he can take a shot or two more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's still not. He's playing at a high level, super efficient, but he's still not really forcing things. At least I don't feel that way when I'm watching him. He can get a little bit more aggressive. I don't think he will, but he still has room for that. Even though the numbers are going up, his shot attempts seem to be staying around the same.
Yeah, he was at 13 last year, 13.3 this year. And you see just with that efficiency and the added 3-point shot, 19.4 points, jumping up to 24.3. So I think we were all worried about spacing with DeRozan, and that to me has gone out the window completely. Like Sabonis, he could probably take more threes, but it's his lack of hesitation when he does take them. Like he catch and shoot, no quick little like, oh, I think I'm going to shoot it and then shoot it, which we saw last year. Like it's quick decisions for him shooting.
Will, you talking about Domas, couple of more threes this year. Talk about spacing. One thing that's at least it stood out to me, particularly last night, Kings didn't shoot the three well, which we've talked about a lot since the start of training camp, since the start of preseason, really. Kings didn't really take a ton of free throws, nor did they make a ton of free throws. But they still put up 113, which, given those two numbers, feels like a lot. It's right below the barometer that we've used over the last couple of years to where once this team hits this number, man, they win games. What does that tell you about the way that this offense has worked here through the first 4 games, that they can lack in what has been one of their most valuable categories over the last 2 years, still beat a bad team handily, and still approach that number where we feel like you're going to have a tough time beating them when they get there?
Yeah, they are absolutely cooking inside the arc. So 2-point field goal percentage, 58.8%. And again, it's the way that they're doing it in multiple spots. So if you look at the breakdown, this is one of my favorite things to look at, the breakdown of like restricted area, floater, mid-range. The Kings are taking the most mid-range field goals in the league, which I think is about expected with DeRozan. They're at 14 mid-range field goals per game. That's up from like 8.9 last year, which I think was last, or like 26, somewhere around there. But they're making them at a 50% clip, which is great for mid-range, especially as a team. And in the restricted area, they are not taking many shots. They're averaging 17 field goal attempts inside the arc. That's second fewest in the league, but what they are doing is maximizing those attempts, making them at a 76.5% clip, which is 4th highest in the league. And then same in the floater area. They take a lot of shots in there, 20 per game at a 50% clip. So you see they have so many different areas on the court that they can make you pay, where if they aren't hitting their threes or if they aren't getting to the line, they're going to score in other ways, which is really reminiscent of what we saw 2 years ago when they led the league in 2-point percentage and had a similar kind of breakdown. So long answer, there it is. Short answer, just 2-point field goals are going really well for them, really for everyone on the team.
Long answers are goodwill. Just go ahead. Long answers are great.
And it just kind of proves one of the things, the numbers prove out one of the things that we all looked at when they got DeMar DeRozan. It's just going to make them more versatile. It's going to give them another option to be an efficient scoring team. I think, and we've said this for a number of different times today, I think in about 10, maybe even 15 games, they're going to be unbelievably dynamic on the offensive end. It comes from having so many different ways that they can attack you on the offensive end.
Yep.
It's not just a barrage of threes. It's not just De'Aaron Fox getting to the basket. They got the mid-range. And now, not last night notwithstanding, now if you foul them, they're knocking down free throws. And it's just, I'm not going to say how do you stop them, because maybe maybe Boston has the answer to some, but they're going to be tough to defend, really tough to defend. And if you're not a top flight defensive team, I think they're going to give you the business.
Yeah, and they are just playing so smart on offense. Like you see, they're still kind of figuring out how and where to operate, but already game 4 looks so much better than game 1. Just so many backdoor cuts, and they're cutting hard with intent, and they're getting those passes. Like Sabonis has so many backdoor passes to like Keegan or whoever it may be, but they're looking for those opportunities. I had a number I wanted to look up, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, the other part is they're taking just smart shots beyond the arc too. So I tweeted this out today. They're catch and shoot threes versus pull up threes. They're taking 28 catch and shoot threes and only 6.8 pull up threes. So they're really limiting their looks beyond the arc to those catch and shoot opportunities, which is generally just a higher percentage shot. And you see that with their percentage. It's like 35 on catch and shoot or 29 on pull-ups, like something about that for splits. So everything they're doing looks not forced. And that's, again, only game 4. But the philosophies of their offense looks really good. And I think we have to go back and give them some credit for preseason and kind of forcing everyone to play in the flow offense of not calling set plays. I think it might have hurt them in those preseason games, but it helped them build that type of chemistry quicker by forcing them to figure each other out and learn those actions.
Well, any defensive numbers to take away from the first handful of games here?
I really like how they're guarding the rim as well. So like I was saying earlier, just flip those stats to opponents. For the restricted area, they're limiting opponents to 19.3 looks in the restricted area. That's the fewest in the league. So they don't have a shot blocker, but they are not letting teams get going inside. 68.8% on those shots, which is a little higher than you want. That's like 10th in the league, give or take. But limiting those looks, I looked at Kenny, your stat, the wide open threes. I don't remember it, but I can pull it up and see how they're doing on allowing wide open threes. I know it was pretty good. And they are about 20th or so in terms of wide open threes allowed at 16.8. And that's with some, I think one game they were at like 29.
Yeah,
So they're doing a better job, I think, than the eye test reveals at guarding the 3-point line. And just, it's always going to come down to if the opponent makes it or not. But I like what they're doing on defense. You can see the focus on deflections, and it's like the hot topic word right now,
Well, you
where
heard it
they're
here
just
first.
in the
It
passing lanes.
It all just comes down to if the other team makes it. That's
Yeah.
That's the Will Z defense right there. It just all comes down to whether the other team makes it. Man,
Yeah.
Hey,
Who needs numbers when you have that?
Well, there you go.
That's like when Kenny says, if you make baskets,
you'll win.
You'll win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
Me, Will, and Trent different.
Boy, we got the smartest group here, boy. I love it.
Oh, man.
Well, numbers aside, I mean, and maybe the
Mhm.
numbers bear out what we're seeing. Last night, it definitely bared it out. What are you seeing from Keon Ellis when he plays, man? He seems to make a difference when he's out there on the
Mhm.
floor. They had the numbers that I read from Sac Film Room last night
Yeah.
about what he was doing when he was guarding a shooter, the deflections, the block, all this other stuff. He really feels like a game-changing defensive player out there.
Mm-hmm. He just has high impact minutes, which when you're getting the rotation squeezed down, like we're seeing, you have to have that type of impact in a smaller opportunity. And he's doing exactly that, where he's just always in the right place. His instincts on the defensive end are just off the charts. Like the strip where he came down, someone was backing down and he came around the other side and like got the ball. He's really good at baiting players into passes. Just he knows where to be and he has the hands to I can't say that.
No,
Yeah.
Sorry, Will.
He is very just active with his hands, and he doesn't get called for fouls when he reaches in, which is great. Like his accuracy with his, you know what I mean. He gets to the ball.
We're adults. Don't listen to the chatty house.
God,
We're
adults. Will.
He's handsy in the best way possible.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with handsy. Who's not a little
You guys are
handsy?
killing me.
Well, it's fine. Yeah, all of this sophomoric behavior has ruined Will's ability to talk about the Kings on the radio.
Will is a professional, all right? He is a professional national writer. Let him cook, man. Let him say whatever he needs to say.
I can't lie, though. I can't wait for Kennedy to say pause for the first time.
Oh, yes.
Kennedy is placed in front of the TV watching D'Lo and Casey probably longer than any child should.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
first time she hits you with a pause.
Pause.
Yeah. Fantastic. You know what?
What?
And Will, I think you wrote about this leading into yesterday's game. Is the Kings won on the second night of a back-to-back?
Yeah. A reminder: they went 0-4 last year. Everyone was freaking out about it. Like it really was a huge talking point, not for only us as fans, but for the team as well. Like they were talking about it and how they needed to come out and be aggressive on the second night of back-to-backs. And to see them kind of squash that right away was great. 2 years ago, they also lost their first two, and it started to become a talking point, but then they won the third one. So just seeing them not only win on the second night of a back-to-back, but win the first one and pretty easily as well. I know DeMar DeRozan, that's one of the things I think he was brought in for, in his consistency. And it shows like he is going to play hard and play right every single night, whether it's a game after 3 days rest or a game after 0 days rest. And hopefully that bleeds into the rest of the team.
Probably it was worth pointing that out because the Kings' next 2 games, back-to-back.
Yeah.
They play Friday and
2
Saturday.
sets of back-to-backs in the first 6 games.
Yeah.
Brutal.
That's crazy, man. But I'm with you with the DeMar DeRozan thing. What are the numbers bearing out with him? He what was the stat where he was the first King to make, or excuse me, like the third King
something like that,
to make their debut with 4 straight 20-point games in their first 4 games. I think it was Chris Webber and Oscar Robinson. I think might have been the other two. But I mean, what are we seeing from him? He looks super efficient out there. Him getting to the line is just a breath of fresh air to see somebody be able to get to the line almost at will in the half court and in the open court as well. We talked about the offense a little bit earlier. He just adds another level and another dynamic to an offense that was already pretty good. But yeah, his ability to run the offense through him and do what they did at the end of that game yesterday, it's next level, man.
And you see, just looking at his field goal attempts, he's doing it not super, actually pretty efficiently. So 18 field goal attempts, 12, 14, 14. So he's not taking a ton of shots, which the free throws help, especially. But 2 of those games, he's had 3 and 4 free throw attempts. So he's still getting over that 20-point mark without the need for the ball to be in his hands so much. And really the steals in his defense has been so much better than I thought it would be. I thought that he would be a at best average defender, but he's got 8 steals in 4 games. He is in the right spots a lot of the time. I really like what I think Mike Brown credited Luke Laux for the defensive scheme and the way that they're playing on defense and their rotations. I thought have been really good to start the year. And he, just like the rest of the team, is just kind of getting handsy.
Okay, now you're
that one was intentional.
Now you're just kidding. Now you're just celebrating.
Put it on a shirt. I'm getting handsy.
You all said it wasn't that bad.
Will Z's getting handsy. That's what it is. It's been a fun. I mean, really, like even with the Laker game, despite even with the 2 losses, we pointed out like there's 2 really frustrating points in those games. But overall, this team has been really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah,
there haven't been any lulls, any dead periods in the offensive end. Like, I can't remember the Timberwolves run as well, but you just had the GOAT doing GOAT stuff. Like LeBron hit some shots that he might not hit for the next 4 weeks.
Right. He has.
Anthony Davis took 2 threes that entire game, made 1, and it was that one. That's why you praise him. That was such a big shot. But like overall, man, the Kings have been really enjoyable to watch this year so far.
Yeah, and you just see like they, I think, are having fun, and that lends itself to the watching experience as a whole. And I'm not even super mad about the 21-0 run against the Lakers. What really stood out to me in that game was how DeRozan kind of brought them back into the game. And I don't think that got talked about enough, where that's a game where last season I think the Kings get blown out. Like they don't come back and make that a competitive game, where DeRozan, he got going. He said, I got it. I got you guys. And he did. So losses are losses, but early season takeaways, like it's been, like you said, a ton of fun to watch. Really looking forward every time they've got a game day. It's like, all right, let's go.
And the DeMar questions are over, right?
Yeah,
those are over.
About the fit.
Yeah, the concerns. Like, I mean, some of these guys just got to start taking L's at this point. Like, yeah, got that one wrong. DeMar works. Like, if he got 3 20-point scorers right there, De'Aaron is still De'Aaron. He's assisting. I don't. Well, maybe it is at a higher level, and Domas is playing out of this world. That trio is absolutely working.
And I've got some. I noticed last night that DeRozan, how easily he draws help defenders, just opens up so much for the Kings offense. Like he'll be posting someone up, someone will come over, and he just flips the ball out to Kevin Huerter for a wide open three. So I'll probably write on that either tonight or tomorrow morning. But his ability to open up more space for the team, like we're seeing it come to fruition, where it's the exact opposite of everyone's worries when he signed.
Will, do you have anything that statistically you see that you're like, I don't like that. Like, I need that to be better. I need them to pick it up here.
That's a good question. I honestly don't think so. At this point, let me pull up. I haven't updated. If anyone hasn't seen the pregame graphic that I'm putting out, go check that out. I'll do it again on Friday. But I have to update it every day. Every
That
time
graphic
that I
is
use
bananas.
it.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like there's so much going on it. I just leaned into like it's busy, but it's got literally everything I look at in one spot. So it makes my life easier. So
This,
it's a
as
lot.
someone who's been around this franchise for, since 2016 or so in a media
Mhm.
capacity, this is more detailed than what they do.
That's what I was going for. Like
Yeah,
that's
this is more detailed than
Yeah.
if you choose, you can get a big booklet
Mhm.
when you enter the media room that breaks down the Jazz, the Kings, the last game, the players, all of this different stuff. This is that on like Arnold Schwarzenegger 1970s level steroids.
That's right.
I love to hear that. Like seriously, that makes me so happy. Because like I don't know, we always talk about like what I'm trying to do and stuff, and I don't know, but like being that kind of level is something I'm trying to continue to grow at. And it felt like this was me getting back to my roots in terms of like numbers and especially pregame. Like that's how I started with you guys was like pregame talk. So it was a really fun project for the off season.
Yeah, no one will ever look at Will's pregame notes and go, "Hey, I wonder how the Kings match up against the Jazz in this category," because it's literally all right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
all
But yeah, Kenny, nothing super stands out right now. I think it'll just be interesting to see what the 3-point trends continue to be, both for what they make and what their opponents make. But so far, those are both looking pretty good, which I think in the era that we are with the 3-point shot is probably the most important thing, where it all comes back to can you make shots and do your opponents make shots?
Simple way of evaluating basketball right there. The amount of shots you make versus the amount that your opponent makes.
No, that's all. That's how you got to break it down.
That's it. Hey, keep it simple, stupid. That's what they say. Hurts my feelings every time. Will, we appreciate you, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Very well.